For weeks, the entire world of football has been waiting on Thomas Tuchel to announce the 26-man squad he'll be taking to the 2026 World Cup. Well, he finally has, and it is hardly what anyone was expecting. You see, England has one of the most talented and star-studded squads in international football, so there's always bound to be huge snubs ahead of every major tournament. But even with that in mind, this has still been very shocking. A lot of big names have been snubbed, and it has sent the entire footballing universe into a frenzy. Who are some of these big players we're talking about here? You'll find out in this video today. These are 10 top players who have been shockingly left out of the England squad.
Hey fam, this is your chance to build the jersey collection you've been waiting for. The Goal 90 bundle deal is live. Buy 2 jerseys and get 10% off. Buy 3 and get 15% off. Buy 4 and get a massive 25% off. Club kits, country kits, retro classics, pick your favourites and save big. And yes, every order comes with free worldwide shipping. The deal runs only until the end of May. Goal 90 bundle deal. Buy more, save more. Shop now at Goal 90 Shop.
We'll start with Phil Foden. He has been England's golden boy for some years now, but he won't be heading to an international tournament with the Three Lions for the first time since he made his debut in 2020. He was at Euro 2020, the 2022 World Cup, and Euro 2024, but that streak will now be broken as he'll be at home for the 2026 World Cup. To be fair, Foden saw his form drop massively this season, with Pep losing faith in him and relegating him to the bench for the most part of the campaign. But it was still expected that Foden would make it to the World Cup, given his versatility and status in the national team. I mean, we're talking about a one-time Premier League player of the season here. Seeing him not head to the World Cup at the age of 25 is a huge shocker. And what we're learning here is that status obviously doesn't matter much for Tuchel, as he also chose to drop Harry Maguire. The Man United man is one of the most high-profile centre-backs in the country, and it was expected that he would not only go, but would also start at the World Cup alongside Marc Guéhi. But Tuchel made the shocking decision to not call him up. Maguire immediately took to social media to express his shock at the snub. He said he was confident that he could have played a major part for England this summer after the season he had, but he's left gutted by the decision. He, however, wished the players all the best. His mum, though, didn't care to be half as professional, saying on her social media that she was absolutely disgusted by the decision. Considering how good Maguire is in the air, and with England having some corner kick specialists in Rice and Saka, Tuchel might just have missed a beat with this one. But for us, one of the most shocking decisions is the exclusion of Lewis Hall. The 21-year-old defender has grown to become one of the best left-backs in the world this season. He had a really stellar campaign, giving a good account of himself in big games, including against Barcelona. At that point, his place at the World Cup felt guaranteed, but Tuchel just dropped a bombshell with this one. The former Chelsea player, who is now reportedly a target of Manchester United, feels like the future of the England national team, so this comes to us as a huge shocker. And because of this exclusion, the Luke Shaw snub now feels more shocking. If the coach dropped a young defender in favour of a more established senior player, perhaps it could have been a little more understandable. He prioritised experience, nothing too crazy about that. But Tuchel decided to snub one of the country's best young left-backs and also the most experienced player in that position, who actually had a great campaign where he was solid and reliable all season. It just did not make much sense, to be honest. But it gets even more shocking. Cole Palmer was also left out of the squad. You see, there are certain players whose selections are not just about form, and everyone thought Palmer was that guy for England. Yes, he has not been in the best of forms this season, but he's a magician who is able to come up with game-changing moments out of nowhere, just like we saw in the 2024 Euro final. He also has the ability to play in multiple positions, so for these reasons, many fans thought that he would be included in England's World Cup squad, but Tuchel didn't care about any of that. He snubbed the Chelsea number 10, which sent shockwaves throughout the country. Truly, it is not every time you see a player score a goal in a major final and then get dropped ahead of the next major tournament, especially when he's still in the prime of his career. Now, you would think that Tuchel leaving out Foden and Palmer meant that he was prioritising form over status, but that notion was put to bed by his snub of Morgan Gibbs-White. Gibbs-White is one of the 5 highest goal scorers in the Premier League this season and the highest scoring midfielder in the division. He has been directly involved in 24 goals across competitions this season and led Nottingham Forest to a European semi-final. But apparently, none of that was enough to convince the England boss. He wasn't moved by status, nor was he moved by form. Now, that's really shocking. Another big surprise is Adam Wharton's exclusion. The 22-year-old Crystal Palace midfielder has been growing in popularity in English football in recent years, but none of that seems to impress Tuchel in the slightest. While some fans were trying to make a case for Wharton to start alongside Rice at the World Cup, Tuchel had other plans. He didn't even include the lad at all. But at least, the squad is not devoid of young midfielders, as the coach decided to call up 21-year-old Kobbie Mainoo for his first ever World Cup. Jarrod Bowen was also expecting to get his first World Cup call-up, but he was disappointed as Tuchel found him unworthy. Despite the relegation fight with West Ham, Bowen has been one of the most standout players in the Premier League this season. He's third for most assists in the league and sixth for most goal involvements. Stats like these should have guaranteed him a place at the World Cup as a backup to Saka on the right wing, but surprisingly, they weren't enough. Bowen was in England's 2024 Euros squad and has always been great for the Three Lions each time he was called up, so it was something of a foregone conclusion that he would be heading to North America with the team this year. But oh well. And it goes on. With context, it's also quite shocking that Fikayo Tomori has been left out. We all got used to him not making the England squad because of how much Southgate snubbed him during his time, but he's a top player who has been very consistent at AC Milan. Tuchel came in and recalled him into the squad, giving him hope of finally making it to a major tournament, only to go and dash those hopes in the craziest way. Also, when you fail to call up a player like Harry Maguire, it only makes sense that Tomori gets included. But it appears that Tuchel prefers to go with Quansah, Konsa, Stones and Dan Burn at the back. Finally, Levi Colwill will also not be going to the World Cup, which is shocking considering what we have seen from him in recent weeks. A couple months back, this would not have been a shock at all, but the Chelsea man returned from his ACL injury not too long ago and has been really good ever since. His defending is solid and his passing is just as strong as it has ever been, which had people expecting that he could perhaps squeeze into the World Cup squad at the last minute. Perhaps if the likes of Maguire and Tomori were selected, this would not have been that shocking. But to leave those players out and still leave out Colwill, whose passes could break down even the most organised presses and open up games, yeah, that's a shock. All in all, it has been one heck of a squad Tuchel has come up with here. No doubt it is still a very strong England squad, and we still expect that Tuchel will be able to field a strong lineup capable of even winning the World Cup, but the German manager has surely ruffled a lot of feathers with this one, and he might just have tripled the pressure on his shoulders even before a World Cup ball is kicked. So we now want to hear from you guys. How far do you think England will go this time around? Is Thomas Tuchel setting them up for incredible success or a disaster of a campaign? Tell us what you think in the comments. Also tell us what you think is the most shocking exclusion of all as far as the three-line squad is concerned. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Also, turn on the bell notification so you never miss out on new content. Catch you in the next one. Bye.